Okay, here are the 6 main reasons why a man is pulling away from you. And I know the first one is going to be quite painful, but we've all been there, we've all experienced this. It doesn't matter if it's for men or for women, we all been in a situation that now all of a sudden, even though it seems to go somewhere, it kind of stops. And it kind of stops abruptly, it kind of stops all of a sudden, you don't even know why and what. And the number one reason why this is happening is because he just met someone else. He lost interest in you. And I know this is painful, and I know this is not what you're looking for to hear, but unfortunately, very often that's the truth. Because now all of a sudden there's this new person in his life. There's a lot of new dopamine hits that he's experiencing. There's this spark of curiosity. There's this sexual tension. There's this interest in someone else. And all of a sudden, you as the person you've been there before, you kind of end up being more in the back burner of this. Meaning he just redirected his focus. His focus, his attention, his energy just moved on to someone else. And unfortunately, that's just part of the dating game. That's part of life. You know, we're meeting someone, we're kind of exploring the chemistry and the connection and where this could be. And maybe we even have some sort of idea about the compatibility. But then we meet someone else. And all of a sudden, all these things get out of the window because, wow, there's this new excitement that is here. And someone who's pulling away, there's a very high chance that he just met someone else. So the next one is, the second part is, he can't easily get what he wants. The intentions that he has for connecting with you might be just very different than you have. You know, he might want some intimacy and some sex and very casual dating dynamic, but he realizes you want something else. Your standards, your morals, the way how you engage and behave in that connection with him might be different. He realizes, ooh, I have to put way more effort and way more time and way more energy into this than I actually want to. It's not really worth for him. So therefore, he's pulling back because he just realizes, I have to not just take her on dinners, I have to do it multiple times, I have to do X, Y, Z, I have to constantly check in, like all of these other things. And he just realizes it's not worth his time, it's not worth his energy. He just wants something casual and quick and easy and not too much effort. So if he pulls back, actually it's a really, really good thing for you, because if your standards are here and your morals and the type of connection that you're looking for, and he doesn't fulfill that, and he kind of realizes that and pulls back, it's actually a really good thing. It's almost like it's a natural selection process that just happened, and you don't have to deal and bother with someone who clearly has different intentions and different energies behind the connection that you kind of want to create and the connection that he is looking forward to create.
Which brings me to today's sponsor. If you're stuck, lost, or confused when it comes to your relationship with men, and you don't know how to communicate your needs to him in a way that makes you feel seen, loved, and heard, then you must see this. Since every woman's personality and circumstance is so unique and so special to you, we have a free relationship assessment quiz that you can take in the link below. That quiz will give you a customizable action plan to give you the love that you deserve, because you're worthy of it and you do deserve it so, so much. So take our free relationship assessment quiz right now, and now back to the video.
The third one might be a little bit surprising to you, because this is when he's potentially considering taking it deeper and taking it further with you. You know, maybe he's thinking about proposing to you. Maybe he's thinking about marrying you. Maybe he's thinking about moving together, or really taking the relationship to the next level. And then what's going to happen? He's going a little bit into his own man cave. He's going to disconnect. And this happens more subconsciously than consciously, because in that disconnection, he's looking for more clarity. Because if you zoom out, if you remove yourself a little bit from whatever that is, the good or the bad, then you kind of have an overview, like this bird's eye kind of view that you can look at in order to really assess everything properly. And he's going to ask himself some serious questions. How does he really feel about you? How does he feel himself being around you? Can he really provide in the way how he wants to provide for you? Is that the type of lifestyle that he's really looking forward to spend, for example, the rest of his life with you? So all of these kind of questions he is going to ask himself once he's in that man cave. So if he's pulling back, that might be another one of these reasons. The fourth reason is, okay, he also might just have some personal issues. This might be some health issues. This might be something happens in his family, maybe even some really traumatic and someone has passed away. But it could also be something like there's just so much stress and so much overwhelm at work right now, and he's just it's too much to handle and to deal with. So what is he doing in that kind of situation? He's also removing himself a little bit. He's pulling back a little bit, maybe even a little bit more, because why? One, he cannot really handle and deal with everything at the same time. Two, his own emotional turmoil that he's going through. Men often have never really learned how to communicate properly, how to deal and navigate with their own internal process and their own emotions, and all these things are happening. So what is the fastest way for him to come back into a state of hormesis, to a state of harmony, an internal harmony? It's dealing with it himself, not talking about it, taking care of everything, and the things that are not necessary, and the things that are maybe he doesn't even want to deal or doesn't even can deal on top of it, he's just compartmentalizing them and put them a little bit aside. So don't take this too personally as well if this is happening. Because yes, I understand you want some clarity why he's pulling away. You're asking him a question why he's pulling away. You really want to have all of these different ins and outs and like trying to understand him. But to be honest, in that kind of situation, once he's in there, yes, you can ask him some questions about this. But don't expect you're going to get like very clear answers, because right now, again, he's pulling back because he needs to deal with whatever it is that he's dealing with in that moment. And the other piece with that is maybe also that relationship, that trust, that safety that he would require within the relationship, you haven't quite reached that depth. So therefore, he will also go back to his personal internal state rather than opening up and being more vulnerable. And the other piece with that is because he likes you, because he's into you, because he desires you, he doesn't want to show you his own weaknesses. He doesn't want to show you that he's going through whatever it is that he's going through, because like it's a lot to take on in that moment for him. And then sharing it on top of it, where he's not like at his peak, like his full strengths, that's something he just tries to avoid showing you. Number 5, you're just too good of a woman for him. Let me explain that. And I know this is not very often talked about. Maybe in the beginning you guys started dating casually and everything was fun and playful and whatever, but because of the caliber of a woman that you are, he just realizes, wow, this is a strong, powerful, beautiful woman. One, I might get a little bit scared and I'm experiencing my own sort of fear of falling for that woman. Because if he does, and because this kind of caliber woman that you are and the standards that you have, he wants to hold himself to those standards. But he realizes he's not quite there yet. He's not ready for it. So therefore, the easiest way out is obviously pulling back, removing yourself from that. And I know it's annoying, it hurts, and it's painful, and it seems a little bit irrational. I get it. But that's just how many men think. That woman is too good. I'm not ready for that type of commitment, for that type of level of standard and quality that I have to bring and how I have to show up every single day. That man is just not ready for it. So therefore, he's removing himself. He's pulling back. And it basically just shows it's exposing his own weaknesses, his own shortcomings, where he's not quite there where he wants to be and how he wants to show up for his woman, for you. So therefore, maybe he's pulling back. He's trying to sort all of these things out, and then at a later stage, he will come back and everything is beautiful. The easier way out, obviously, very often chosen, unfortunately, is that man is just going to pull back, is going to remove himself, and he's going to look for an easier catch, an easier way out where he doesn't have to hold himself to that type of standard and quality all day, every day. And then the 6th one, and this is also something that sometimes is unfortunately forgotten. It happens quite frequently too. You just don't match his level of investment and his level of excitement. It goes like this. You've been hurt. You've been through a bunch of heartbreak. You've had your own levels of pain that you've experienced with men. So therefore, this like hard to get, really putting him for a long time in its auditioning phase. He needs to earn you. He needs to really show up consistently over and over and over again, because your walls are up and it's going to take some time for them to come down. And I get all of this. But because of that, and let's say he really shows up, he's communicating a lot for his level of investment. He's really doing everything, trying to put a smile on your face, showing up, caring for you, making time, spending time and energy to see you, to be with you. And then, unfortunately, because of that attitude, that mindset that's been ingrained in so many women, what happens is they don't level that type of investment. They don't level that type of excitement because they still are in this mindset of like, no, he needs to prove himself to me. And I get that mindset. But let me say this. He's been through the same. I can guarantee you almost every man has been through heartbreak himself too. Every man has experienced pain and suffering and has been taken advantage of and has not experienced the level of love that we all want to experience, and actually was quite the opposite, and there was betrayal in whatever kind of way that happened to. So everything that happened to you, there's a very high likelihood that it also happened to him. So if then at some point his investment, his excitement, and his engagement with you is just not matched, and you don't bring the same level of engagement to this relationship, to this dating dynamic, then sooner or later he's gonna get tired. Sooner or later he's gonna be like, you know what? This doesn't feel like this is balanced here. This doesn't feel like everything that I'm putting into, I'm also receiving back in the same way. Because that's really what the relationship or like the start of a dating dynamic should be, right? It's not a one-way road. It's always a two-way road. And that's exactly sooner or later what he's gonna assess. And if he feels like there's a huge discrepancy between the two of you, yes, you might find some men and they're like, okay, I need to put in more work. I need to put in more. I need to do more. I need to do X, Y, Z. But even those kind of guys, sooner or later, they will be like, you know what? Nah, I'm done with this. I'm moving on. And if that moment has reached, it pretty much is over. There's no way coming back from this, in my opinion. Because now all of a sudden you put yourself in a position, now you have to show up so much more in order for him to forget everything that had happened before. And you're not going to see the same level of investment and engagement from him anymore because he was already pulling out of it. So therefore, with the sixth one, also be very, very careful. And these are the things why men often pull away.